about Stockport County. As you'll know if you're a regular listener to the Sunday session, we are following Stockport County this season. They're our adopted EFL club. They were promoted from the National League. They are one of the favourites to get promoted from League 2 next season, which is a big thing to do, 2 double jumps. Russ Johnson, the founder of this Scarf Bagara War Stockport podcast, is on the line. Hello.
Hello, you okay?
Yeah, we're very good, thank you. Russ, we've spoken to Dave Challoner, we've spoken to the club president, we've spoken to a number of supporters as we go on this journey with Stockport this season, and we're delighted to have you on the programme. Thank you very much for giving us your time. There's been quite a few changes in terms of the squad over the course of the last few weeks, in particular this week as well. Callum has signed from Fleetwood on a free transfer, even though I think they tried to get him earlier in the window and that fell through, and then they signed other players in a similar position. They're quite stacked now. What do you make of the squad?
Yeah, I think it's stacked. I think we'll see some players leave the club in the coming days and weeks. Otherwise, it's going to be a really tough job for Charlie to balance it and do that squad management. Although I think there are extra games and there's more subs compared to the National League that we can name players on the bench more and make 5 substitutions as well, which is a change for us.
Russ, does it say a lot that it looked like the Camps transfer wasn't going to happen because County signed a couple of players, and yet it kind of went through because he really wanted to join the club?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, because we signed Akil Wright, which I think is a central midfielder as well. But with Callum Camps, there was talk of him going to Bristol Rovers to follow Joey Barton. But he's a Northwest lad. I think Fleetwood and Rochdale. I think he's a Rochdale graduate, and he's from Stockport as well, I believe. So. With what's happening at the club and staying in the same location, staying local, and with what we can offer him, it makes sense for him to come to us rather than Bristol Rovers.
How are you feeling about the club itself over the last couple of years? Because it's been quite a dramatic change, hasn't it, in terms of the new ownership, the way the money has come in, and obviously then the change of manager, being promoted last year. It's been a long time outside the EFL. All of a sudden now you're favourites to be promoted from League 2. Do you feel like you're on a bit of a roller coaster ride? Yeah, well,
I'd probably speak for a lot of fans. We're living our best lives. You know, going from regional semi-professional football due to a number of catastrophic reasons in the past. We've actually got an owner now that wants to do the club, wants to run the club for the best, and he's just written off £7.7 million worth of debt into equity. So he's delivering on his promises. Where we couldn't be happier. The only gripe we've ever had that I can think of is that 1883 appears twice on the badge, and if that's the only complaint we've got, then we're in a really good place.
In terms of the plans for the upcoming season, I mean, Scott and I have spoken to a number of people at the club now, and we always mention the fact that they are one of the favourites to be promoted. Will you just settle for staying in the league?
No, I mean, it's great to be back, and we feel like we're back where we belong, but I was asked this by another podcast, where do we think we'll finish, and I said I'd like playoffs or above. Bookies don't lie. We have a lot of investment, so just staying in the league is probably not acceptable. We want to be pushing for promotion, as has Paddy Madden has said in a recent interview. Challoner wants that as well. I interviewed Challoner. He wants that as well. The club want that. The chairman wants to get into the Championship within another 5 years, I think it is. So, staying in the league is not on the agenda. It's trying to get up into League One.
Right, there's wanting and expecting, isn't there? And if the club for some reason, or a team for some reason, doesn't start too well, I mean, pre-season looks like it's gone pretty well. I think you've beaten Huddersfield Town 11-3-2 yesterday, 2-2 against Bolton, beaten Nuneaton 4-0 so far. But I never look too much into pre-seasons, I have to say, as a player. But let's just say the season doesn't start well. Will fans start to be very disgruntled, or will it be a question of, look, we've got to realise where we are, and yes, it is a long season, and top 6, 7 is still possible.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'll still get the odd Twitter keyboard warrior that won't be happy, that want those that are never happy. But if we look at it pragmatically, I guess, as a balanced fan, if it doesn't start well, you're right. We've got to remember where we come from. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we were playing regional semi-professional football, so we've got to take that into consideration. So it's we know what this journey that we're on, I think, and I hate the word journey, but it is really, we're aiming to get into the Championship. If it's a poor start, I don't think too many will be disgruntled. It'll be, well, we had a poor start last season with Russ, and the club made the right changes at the right time and did it effectively. So we would expect that to happen again.
In terms of the changes around the club, physical changes around the club, what have you noticed? What has changed at Edgeley Park over the course of the last few years? Because the last time I was there, I think it was probably about, it might have been 18 months ago when I was there for the West Ham United game, and the changes behind the scenes were ongoing. It is constantly being reinvigorated, isn't it, by the new owner? This is a club that, if it does end up going through the leagues, that actually is going to attract quite a lot of attention because of where it is. It's in South Manchester, on the edge of Cheshire. It's a club that is very easy to get to for people in the big city round the corner, but also from elsewhere as well. It's got a great little catchment area where it can really pick up a few supporters and drag people through the door. And if the environment is right as well, then it's only going to go from strength to strength.
Absolutely, yeah. The potential is massive for us, especially with, the richest club and the biggest club on our doorstep in the world. So, yeah, the potential is huge. In terms of what's happened at the ground, I mean, to us, it feels like a completely different place. We've had new seats put in throughout, a massive new scoreboard. Everything's been renovated with inside the ground. In the Cheadle End where I go, all the bars have been refurbished. It's all contactless. You've got your cards and things, season cards, get discount, just things that we didn't have before. It's brilliant, and we're hearing for the near future, sort of short to medium term. The railway end's going to be done up, and he's already purchased, or there's going to be a car park put behind the railway end, ready for a new stand. And then the what we call the pop side, which is the Vernon stand. That's going to be built up as well, and I think the aim is to get it to a 22,000-seater stadium, is what I've heard. So yes, this ride is just going to grow, and our aim really is to get all of those little City and United fans and Liverpool and all these kids at schools to come in to our club and kick them off early. And Steve Bellis does a great job with that, taking like the trophy around the schools and things like that. It's really nice to see.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to popping down and seeing you. Russ, thank you very much for joining us. That's Russ Johnson, who's joined us from the Scarf Bagara War Stockport podcast, which is available